meeting of the Grafton Cable TV Oversight Committee meeting to order on, this is August 19th, 2024. We're doing this hybrid since all of the participants are here. I don't think we need to do any checking. I don't think we have anyone to check out on the network.
No.
So we can jump right into the agenda. When the first item, as usual, is public input. This is where anyone who has something to talk to us about that's within our purview and not otherwise on the agenda, this is their chance.
Yeah, actually, since you have the committee charge there, it's connected with that too, so I suppose.
Your choice.
If there's nobody on Zoom, I have something for public input.
There's Ann Foley, but she's on mute, so
Okay.
probably select board.
All right. I mean, if she raises her hand, then she's
Yeah,
trying.
I'll be watching for that.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
We have someone who wanted to talk.
No, not at this time.
Okay.
But I do.
Hmm?
I did. I wanted to speak.
Oh.
Okay. So last meeting, we discussed creating a meeting packet for all of the information and all of the things. And I think we can confidently say, leading up to this meeting, there was a lot of confusion about documents over multiple emails, at least for some of the members. So it's really not efficient doing it the way it's going down, where we're sending out multiple emails where the minutes are coming in this one and bills are coming in that one and such is coming in this one. It all really needs to flow to the chair, and then the chair needs to create a packet and send it over to Amber, which then gets posted online, where then that's a resource for not only everybody in the committee to access all in one place, but anybody in the public who might be following along or wants access to the documents we're talking about. So we talked about that at the last meeting,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if you attempted, you said you were gonna attempt to do it, did you attempt to do it at all?
There's an awful lot of message didn't get where it went in this loop. I gathered the materials together in right here, and on Friday I didn't know what else. We didn't have a really good scheme for this, so I mailed everything I had to the committee members. Maybe you, I don't know, someone sent that up there, and it showed up on Monday, today, on the website. The problem is that stuff, minutes don't arrive until, a minute before the meeting.
Well,
it was a couple hours before the meeting. And other material keeps coming in at the last minute. So you can't, it's hard to be inclusive, so people, see, I used to like to be able to look at the stuff as far back as possible, as soon as, when it comes along, I'll look at it and I'll go research that thing and go do this. Not try to catch up on Monday afternoon when it gets published or whatever. So my head hurts a lot right now. Yeah.
About the minutes, they're not set in stone and ready for publication until it's approved. That's why I don't hand it off to the appropriate parties, then post it on the website, because they do that, and we're getting backed up with it. So I wouldn't want to have pre-minutes.
They're draft minutes.
They're draft.
And they go in a packet, and then you vote to approve the draft or amend the draft, and then they become.
How long does that take?
It depends on the board and the committee.
So,
but I wouldn't worry about draft minutes being published. They're still public record. People can ask to read them if they wanted to. So putting them up there in draft form is totally appropriate.
What I think we do, like planning board, is that the minutes are printed or saved with draft
Correct.
on them. Haven't you ever seen that? It's a wonderful feature of Word, I don't know.
It's like a watermark.
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
Right.
So that, you know, we do that with decisions and so on for planning board because of all that. The way we always did it was, everybody sent everything to me, I sent it out to the committee. And if we wanna put it up on the, I don't wanna add work that doesn't need to be added up there, and I don't particularly wanna be building a packet out of all the, you know, one file out of all of the materials.
So it doesn't really.
My computers don't necessarily like me that well. We get into trouble with that, so those are my considerations.
So I talked to Amber about that last month, and I shared that with you, that it's not additional work, so that's a concern we don't need to have. She's okay with doing that, she does it with other committees, we meet once a month, this is one packet she'd be making once a month, it's not a heavy lift. If it comes trickling in through 10, 15, 20 emails, yeah, that'll increase the lift, but if you're doing it over 2 or 3, over, you know, a number of days, I don't think it's that big of a lift, and if it turns out to be a problem, and I'm sure she would vocalize that to us. And you're right, as those emails came in, I just forwarded them over to her. So maybe as you send them out to the committee, just include Amber on it, and then you don't have to think about it anymore, and she'll build the packet.
You're saying send to the committee and Amber.
Well, it sounds like you're resistant to changing it, so keep it the way you're used to doing it, but include Amber on it, that way the packet gets.
I understood, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep, okay. Let's see if we can make that work for the coming time.
Sure.
Cause I do some things, even with what comes to me. Bob insists on sending me his report in RTF format, which is not what I like.
No.
And some people like to send stuff out in Word doc format,
I don't.
which I think is wrong, because then they can,
Edit it.
whether they want to or not, they may edit it without really realizing it and create changes. So I like to send out PDFs,
It's smart.
because then everybody sees them. PDFs are the most universally workable format. Everybody does that. For up until not too long ago, I didn't even have Word on my Mac. Word has been problematic. I'm paying whatever it is to Microsoft so I can have Word on my Mac.
I write mine with Microsoft Word 8.
8?
Yes.
And what are we up to?
That's 2008.
Oh, yeah, that's before they stopped putting out Word, before they started selling whatever it is, something 360.
Right. So.
Which is what I'm paying money for. Okay, so the best bet is send stuff to me. Does the committee wanna wait until pretty close to meeting time, maybe Thursday or Thursday's better, to have stuff sent, or do you wanna do like we used to, you know, send stuff that is interesting or might be helpful for people to look at along the way, cause that makes more people, but yeah, I think you want, try to do like Thursday or something like that for everything that's up to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Okay.
think there's a hard and fast way of doing this. If tomorrow you receive an email that you think's critical for us to see, I don't think you need to sit on it for a month. You know what I mean? But it's just
Well-
something you have to remind yourself to just include Amber as part of that, and then.
Well, but if I've included Amber on the critical message tomorrow, I don't know what she'd do with it. Yeah. I'm afraid it's more something I think will be interesting than something that's critical, but we'll try to sort it out.
Okay.
Try to sort through it.
But it's also good because that's what part of our charge is to inform the public about cable access, so having our documents available, even though some of them seem uninteresting or might be interesting to somebody, you never know, and then they might be interested enough to, hey, I wanna get on that committee, look at what they're looking at,
Yeah,
that looks like fun to me.
I understand all that. I'm the one who's pushed for, I'm the one that got us cable TV of our meetings. I'm the one that got the select board to allow television. I'm the one, I've been doing this forever.
You remember Lawrence Army? No.
I used to do the agenda and anything else that was needed, and drive around town and deliver it to everybody to help them remember. This was before email. Help them remember that there's a meeting coming. I'm the fuzziest person on the planning board about it. I've been on the IT committee since the beginning. I stand up for the web and the website and all of that. I did the first website for the town, before anybody knew that
So
they needed it.
packets should just be a breeze then, right?
Well, got a lot of new people and a lot of new, we'll get it going. It may take a little while to settle in. Maybe we'll have a little less stuff going on. Maybe it'll be a little simpler. Okay, anything else under public input? Committee charge. Had the meeting. Didn't advance at all.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by didn't advance at all? They did
And
what we asked them
we
to
ended
do.
up the same, exactly where Evan had put us with his memo.
Well, we sent a memo as a committee
I know,
asking for
I
those
know.
changes. Oh, okay.
And
Doesn't sound like that when you're putting
I'm
it that way.
thoroughly aware of that. But what we said, I think we said we go along with Evan's $5,000 cutoff, and we didn't get member of the committee or a non-voting member of the committee. We got once every 3 months is the last I heard out of that meeting, which is what Evan had said. So we didn't actually advance at all. Although we had a good conversation.
Okay, Bob, I'm gonna correct you there. We did advance. We got the $5,000 language that we asked for. So to say we didn't advance at all is incorrect. That's
Well-
all I'm saying. We just gotta be careful with our language here.
That's what Evan had in his
Yes.
memo.
Right.
As
But
the
we
way it's gonna
weren't
be unless we
following.
go to the select board and change it.
But-
It wasn't what we all wanted. I'll get to that in a moment.
We could talk about that later too, if we wanna add that on about what we all wanted, so we could find out perhaps what the majority wants. But I think it was clear that the 5,000 was on there because prior to that, it seemed like whatever the case might be, it was some number floating around that we had, taken upon ourselves that
Right.
it was up to us to approve. And that
I
doesn't.
clearly understand that.
That does not, however, well, I don't wanna get into a whole debate on that right now, but, it has clarity now. There's a point of $5,000 and over and above that would come back to us.
And just to be clear, last month, there was a motion made to change the language to $5,000 aligned with the policy. And then Bob amended it to include the non-voting member, and that motion passed unanimously. So that
Yeah.
shows the committee was all in agreement for those two actions.
Well, they were willing to agree, but the point is that that's where we were anyway, because Evan had issued his memo, and essentially it said, until somebody changes it, this is my instruction to my department head.
Okay.
So, I had hoped we'd do better. I had hoped we'd at least get Bob participating to some level, interacting with us, maybe most months, but we didn't get that. Well, we got board members saying, gee, it'd be nice if Bob could be
And-
more.
And he sent a report saying he'll be here next month, and it sounds like we're heading in the right direction.
That's the end of the first quarter. That's his, once a quarter meeting. Maybe not, maybe it'll be better. But I know he said that, in one of those. Okay, well, good, okay. Anything more on the charge? Well,
Yes.
Oh,
My analogy.
oh my God.
I thought of this today.
Training
So-
aids.
Yeah, right. So I made some copies, but this is just as a rough idea. So basically, this is a little story I'm gonna tell you, all right? So I suppose I can give you one too.
It would be
Sorry.
nice.
Basically, what we have is Lake Ripple, which is a reservoir. And this reservoir is of a given size, and basically it rains in this reservoir. And therefore, and on this reservoir, there is this sluice gate, which the water can be drained out of as much as they possibly need to have. And the amount of rain that goes into that lake is pretty much known. I mean, they can't predict the weather necessarily, but you know, there's a good chance you could have a pretty consistent rainfall that goes into the lake. Now, what comes out of the lake, and I just made up some numbers, 443 units total that are coming out of that lake, and it feeds a number of these other things which are connected to that output from that lake. You seeing where the analogy is on this?
I don't see it,
Okay, all right,
but
I'll explain it in a moment. So,
It's a developing story.
it has nothing to do with the charge so far.
yes, well, this is when I'm gonna get to it. So, the point is that there is a circumstance with the drain on the lake in terms of emptying the water within the lake. But it's in proportion to the amount of rain that goes in the lake to kind of balance it out. Because you can't have too much coming out of the lake at one point. But the lake does fill itself back up again. But rain, as it falls, as you know, it's based on a specific area. So if there was a circumstance where they needed more rain, conceivably they could dredge the lake, make the lake a little bigger, so they get more rain that falls into it, if they needed to. I know I'm explaining it all this other way,
Maybe
but-
we could get to the.
Okay, all right. So this is Lake Ripple Reservoir. Now, if you look at the second page, this is Cedar Mill Pond.
Cider mill.
Cider Mill Pond, excuse me. And this is a much smaller lake. And therefore, in terms of what comes out of this little pond, is only about 15 units. Because the point is that it only has so much rain that can go into there to keep that lake full. Starting to see the picture?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. And
Is
it feeds basically one square, one thing. It can possibly feed some of the other squares that are on the side, which would come over to this one. So here's the analogy. The rain are the taxes that get collected for Lake Ripple Reservoir. So that is basically all the taxes that the town collects that fill up that lake. And they have that much money to work with. And as a result of that, they then take that revenue that comes out of that lake and they determine how much they need to drain from that lake, not to make it too bad because they don't want to go over budget, as it were, on that. And then they dispense it across the different departments that need that revenue. Different revenues have different amounts that could be listed here. Now, in terms of the amount of revenue that each of the departments get are relatively high in terms of what their needs are. And of course, they have limits set at $5,000 that are set for what that is. So based on these numbers, as if you just take an example, if you took 5 away from any one of those numbers, it really doesn't affect it that much because they've got a certain amount. Now, if it came to a point where they needed more, they can always go back to where the shutter is and say, we need more for our area. We need to increase our demand. And with approval, they'll get more, so they can increase it. So my point is, that basically is how the town is operating in terms of the flow of tax revenue that goes out to the different areas that are needing that tax revenue. This little pond is our revenue. It's only subscriber rain. You can't make it any more than it already is. It's a limited amount of rain that falls in that pond. And we only draft or draw so much as we possibly need, which basically would only be 15 units. If you take 5 away from that, that doesn't leave us very much to work with in that respect. But over here, they can ask for more. We can't. We're stuck with what we have because we don't have much more there. There is nothing that says we can go back to them and say, oh, well, we don't really have enough here. Can we get some of that tax revenue to make up for some of the extra money here? No, we can't do that. We have to live by our own means, by what is coming off of this Cider Pill pond. So the point I'm trying to lead up to is that we basically are forced to drain our pond faster than proportionally what the other departments use for their need. And they have the ability to increase it without affecting the drain that would occur on the overall lake. So that's my analogy that I have here. And here's the other part too. Do any of these other departments, the police department, fire department, school, do they pay leases or do they rent any of their properties that they use and then pay the town for it? Do they?
I don't know what this has to do with our charge.
Well, what I'm leading up to is that we do. This building is something we lease and give money to the town
I
for,
hear you, but this has
because we don't
gone
have.
way off the rails.
Well, what I'm
We are
trying to
not
point out-
talking about the charge at all.
What I'm pointing out is that
You're not helping me.
all right. Well, what I'm trying to say is that that $5,000 amount is much too high for what is needed here. But I will say this: the money that we've been spending off of our pond is not based on dollars. It's based on equipment. We look and see what equipment there is, and we're basically spending the money based on equipment, not dollars. And that's basically what I have for my analogy. Whereas they're more or less concentrated on money, we're more or less concentrated on equipment. That's the
Thank you for
difference.
that.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry, Bob. I thought that was a good
I still
analogy.
wanna know where my pen went.
I thought that was a good analogy.
Yeah, but it doesn't get to the heart of the problem, the issue.
What I'm saying is that we
Is
can't
it- why-
get extra
it-
money from the
it-
town to offset that $5,000 limit.
Yeah, but the issue is that, it's been made a town department, and it comes under the same control as all the other town departments, whether we like it or not. Whether we
It
were
has
ever
now.
told that was happening or not.
Right, it has now, but I mean, before we
Yeah,
basically were
yeah,
independent.
but that won't help.
But gentlemen, even going above that, if Bob DeToma is putting together a budget each year, which I take it he probably does, doesn't he?
Well, he did,
That
and
gets
he didn't
approved?
share it with us this last year.
That's right.
Because if he puts together a budget for the operations for the year of 2024, he's responsible to follow that budget. And if it goes over budget, then there is an issue, obviously.
Actually,
But I
There is no
don't
budget
think-
provided.
No, he can't, because the money is coming from the cable fund.
That's right.
And the only way to get money out of the cable fund
Yeah.
is a vote at town meeting.
Okay,
And the budget gets filtered through the system, ends up in a town meeting vote
and gets
with
approved,
his number.
that's right.
And then if it turns out that we wanted to spend some money on something that we didn't discuss and he didn't include,
Mhm.
we're out of luck.
So there's no recourse in a situation like that.
The
Because, well,
recourse,
The issue
the
that I'm
the
finding
recourse is a special town meeting or the fall town meeting.
Because what I'm finding here is that it seems we're getting all hung up with, you know, like, the minutia of spending money that's part of the budget, which should already be incorporated in the budget. If Bob's not submitting a budget that's including more, and if it's very lean, then he needs to add more to that budget, so
Yeah,
that.
but if he
it
doesn't
work out.
consult us and work with us.
Okay,
It's
alright,
just-
alright,
I don't know,
I'm gonna
it's-
stop that right there. Again, we're not talking about the charge, we're talking about budgeting, which I love to talk about, but that needs to be a separate agenda item at our next meeting, cause we didn't have it on the agenda for tonight.
Well-
We're also gonna choose better language than talking about how department heads did or didn't insult us. We are trying to foster a more healthier environment, so we need to choose our language better, please. We have to stop pointing fingers. We have to do a starting now time. Starting now, we're moving forward and we're building relationships. We don't need to relitigate the past every single time we meet. And that is what we've been doing consistently, and I'm tired of it.
That could be one of the clauses that we can add to the bylaws that we decided we're gonna put together.
Yep.
So these are good points,
Yes,
Mhm.
100%.
which I'm drafting right now for the COA, actually, so.
Perfect.
I'm sorry about that tonight, Cammy.
Are
Oh,
we
that's got it.
quite settled on this one?
Well, I'm just simply saying that,
And I didn't,
all right, okay.
No, I know, we can't keep going. I mean, it's water over the bridge, we decided last time,
By the way, I have no idea how it works, cause that camera keeps putting you in,
Yeah, so it's
Zoom.
not focused on you all the time. Is it recording you all the time?
No, it's recording the one to the
That,
right.
Yeah.
That's
that,
the one that has the
if we tune
green
in,
square.
that's what we'll see.
Yeah, you see with the red thing, that's what he's recording.
The red thing.
It's pointing at me because the computer is looking at me, but the actual recording is the,
Right.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
on
yeah,
Zoom.
that's-
He's on Zoom.
That picture isn't that
He's
camera.
running the Zoom.
Okay.
That picture is this camera.
this one here, correct,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you don't have to have it on, you can turn off the video if you want, I think. Turn off your video into the, but that's okay.
You could mute, yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, no, you can mute the video,
Doesn't-
your end card.
If you do, then the other picture will be bigger for other people. Okay, not a big deal. Hearing assistance, room A and F. Walt passed on stuff.
Thank you all for looking into that.
Hmm? And, I did a little research too. And, it may be too complicated for us right now. A lot of what I got, I asked Bob DeTomo about whether he had some vendors that he knew about. And, he said, Danielle, do you know Danielle? You don't know Danielle?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know of-
She was the Bob DeTomo when it was Charter that was paying him, more or less for a long time in the studio. Did a great job. She's worked for Charter in Worcester doing television, and now she's working for the company, used to be the camera company, now it's something else. But she sells stuff to us. She's our salesperson now. I said, I'd like to contact her. Can you send me her current email? No, he didn't. He sent me a letter that he got back from her, which I don't think I sent out.
I think you did last time.
Yeah,
You did this last month. You told us about this, how you requested the email, and then you sent out what?
Oh, okay, I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember, okay. Oh, well, anyway, he sent me that, but I haven't had a chance to talk to her. But most of what I make out of her memo is the traditional hearing assistance. There's a loop around the room and particular equipment that each person has to have, or something along those lines. You can get hearing aids that have an interface for, I think, for that, as much as I can get. We have, you've seen, I'm sure up at the room A, conference room A, Bill has a little hearing thing.
Yeah, is there an issue with the current hearing assistance that we offer? Is that what you're looking to do? You're looking to upgrade what we're, because we currently offer
Yeah,
hearing
that,
assistance.
but that's like, ask for the thing, and there are only a few things that, that can do, or you might get hearing aids that interface with at least some of those.
But is there a
the-
flaw with the current system we have?
Well, I don't like it very well, but I used it before I I think it was before I got the hearing aids. But I think it may be possible to do something much better.
Okay.
Maybe not right away though, and that's where we're getting to. It's coming to have ways to do Bluetooth, be broadcast into the room in a way that everyone can tune in with their phone, with their Bluetooth equipped hearing aids and whatnot. And I was interested in that. I thought, well, that sounds pretty good to me. That would open it up for a lot of people, and provide a much, well, it just seems like a better thing. Now, what's I've turned up is that there's some Bluetooth capability under Bluetooth Mumble, 5 dot something standard, but that there's new Bluetooth standard coming along that's focused on doing this. It broadcasts to a whole audience instead of, Bluetooth is usually one-to-one. So it gets kind of complicated to have Bluetooth talking to a bunch of people with the traditional thing. And as much as I could make out without, through what I looked at, it seemed like it's not 100% here and solid at this point. And so when I went up to the VA to have my hearing checked and to get new hearing aids, which will have Bluetooth, I asked the doctor, and she's very good, and she knew exactly what I was talking about, and she advised to hold back a year or two until this new Bluetooth thing really settles in and is available. And that's what I have.
I actually looked at both videos, and they do have Bluetooth capabilities. They can actually do it on Arena.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
quite
but
interesting.
that's one, that's like a single vendor,
Yes,
with a single system. It's a standard, the there's a committee that standardizes Bluetooth.
No, they claim they can retrofit it to anybody's.
No, it's simple, I think it's simple enough. They plug a transmitter into your audio feed and it transmits, but it needs to transmit in the new format, which is only just coming. And I'm not sure, I'd wanna talk to people about how this actually works, whether some of what I saw seemed to be talking about going through an iPhone and an app and then having it send it on to you. And so I'd just like to see and hear more about it.
Mr. Chairman, maybe he can speak to it. He's the one that
Yeah.
actually found out that brought the vendors.
One of the, well, first of all, I propose this, is that while I think it's good for us to understand this, and I think it's worthwhile
Oh,
exploring.
yeah.
After looking into it and seeing how it works, and it does at this time work where you plug in a transmitter to your system, and it does have the capability of filling, or at least being able to transmit, cover an auditorium, let's say,
Exactly.
which then allows individuals to pair their device to that Bluetooth frequency and be able to listen. There's people now that they can even do it with different languages over that same system as well, that by pairing to the specific channel that would be coming across on that Bluetooth wave frequencies. Now, the catch here is that for like hearing aids, I would imagine for the most up-to-date hearing aids, they're gonna be working at a higher platform of Bluetooth, like a Bluetooth 7.0 or 10.0, whatever that might be. That's the high end. There's also lower levels of Bluetooth. I mean, I've had Bluetooth devices like this where I get a new device, but it's incompatible with being able to pair with this device because it's a lower level Bluetooth platform. It's just like your Microsoft Windows, we were talking about the versions, right? If you don't have the upper best version,
The latest
you have
version.
difficulty. So you have that's going on. So while this could be good from the standpoint of folks that have the Bluetooth capability that's compatible with whatever we do, those who do not will not be able to take advantage of it. Now, That being said, I also believe that while it's good for us as a committee to be educated on this and see the value, and I think there certainly is value here, I think when it comes down to the equipment or whatever it goes from here on, that is Bob DeToma's realm of responsibility. It's not within our charge to be picking out equipment or whatever that says, that's not there. So, but in terms of understanding what the value is of what it can do and all, and making a recommendation that we should look into it, yes, I agree that is something that we should do.
I would for sure love to know what the cost is today, so that as technology advances and we see the cost change, and to understand the program we currently offer now. Because if this is gonna cost us $100,000 and we already have equipment that's doing that, does that make sense, or could that $100,000 be spent differently? I don't know, but that's the information I'm looking for to have this
And
conversation.
Colleen, my understanding is it's almost like the doggle, it's called a doggle, I believe. They just plug into your laptop. So it's not something that would be extorted in costs.
Okay.
If we were to offer this, which attracted me, because if we could add this on to our systems, it's really going to be not much pocket change.
Right.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's an enhancement to our systems. It makes us look good, and it serves a purpose. But at the same time, and I think, Bob, I shared with you when you asked for agenda items, I think where we're talking about the rooms now, if we're going to start looking at this hearing assist, I think we need to look at, the senior center and look at other locations that
Schools, as you mentioned.
yes, that could also tie into this,
Absolutely.
because that's, if we're gonna do it here, well, we should be across the board, and particularly for older adults.
Oh, yeah.
We need to make sure that they're taken care of as well.
Yep,
So
agreed.
our money is.
Right. I was gonna
Is
say.
limited to cable purposes, so you have to,
Mhm.
room A and I'm not sure whether F is equipped at this point. I asked and I couldn't find out, or I didn't find out. What was I saying about it?
That we're limited for where we could put it, given our
Yeah,
budget.
the money.
So obviously, if
Because
the senior center's
those are studios.
Right, well, if the senior center's not covered, then we still have, the parameters of where we're looking at costs and all that. We
Yeah,
talk to
yeah.
the appropriate individuals, and we
Yeah.
pursue it.
Yeah, well, now, I'm gonna say, Bob should certainly be a part of, maybe a big part of any kind of researching and selecting. But that goes beyond spend $5,000. That goes to policy about what we wanna do, how we wanna reach out, all of that, and that's our job. And historically, none of us knows all the different fields. I'm an electrical engineer, and all that stuff. Everybody has expertise that's different. Yours is different than his, I'll bet. But we have technical expertise, we have it would be really great if we could do this or that, and a whole range. And I think working together is the best thing, because I'll bet you it's gonna be more than $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and I think that's what Walt is saying, is to work together. So,
Yeah. Not-
this is a great,
Not it sounded like,
No, I said it's important for us to understand the value, and,
Yes,
there's
but-
nothing wrong with that at all.
But-
Because then it allows us to endorse it. But when it comes to the practical of what vendor or how it's done, that's Bob's responsibility.
So, we shouldn't look at where in the evolution of the technology we should go. Should we buy whatever's available this afternoon? Or should we understand this evolution of the technology and look at where the right place for us to be to serve the town? Each time we buy stuff, it's got 10, 15 years of service because we've made good choices looking in the long range.
Bob, you may not be hearing me, I'm not
Well,
proposing,
I
I'm
heard.
proposing that it's certainly within our responsibility as all, in the charge, to look at the technology, to understand it, to see if it is something that we might want to endorse now, or like you say, maybe we wait 2 years now
Yeah,
because it
okay.
needs to develop further.
Good.
But then when we're at the point, we tell Bob, we endorse this, we like it, let him pick out the make, the model, whatever it is, so he does his homework with his vendors to do it and comes back to us.
Yeah. I'd like us to be saying to him, we want, or we think we want Bluetooth 5.7, or whatever it is.
So
That's about the right number.
I don't think it's gonna happen that way, that you're envisioning it. I really do think it's gonna be more of a collaborative approach, like we've already kind of looked into it. You've spoken to your doctor about it. You have a vision of what you want already, and we haven't let the department head even have an opportunity to talk to vendors. It's that collaborative approach where the department head will come in and then talk about what they've found, versus what you're saying is you wanna say, go get this.
No.
But you just
I wanna
said that.
say, go to this technology, go to this level of technology,
How's it-
when the level of technology is there.
But I think there just needs to be more collaboration between that a lot. And we're, like
What-
you said, we're not buying it tomorrow.
What did I say last Tuesday? Work together?
Right, so go get this is not working together. It's just the
And
collaborative
who-
approach
and who
of,
said, go get this?
Right.
Okay.
But you know, when we're also talking about level of technology, I mean, we're gonna tell Bob to get it and Bob's gonna go and get level 1? No, he's gonna talk to his
Right.
vendors and he's gonna get the, you know, the
State-of-the-art.
state of the art that's in here right now. I mean, come on, guys, I mean, geez.
Colleen made a very good point. Let's start with finding out what kind of costs we're looking at.
Yes.
Because if it's $1 million, then, you know what I'm saying, I'm just throwing it out.
right, I don't wanna waste my time looking any further,
Right,
especially when we offer the
Select board
service
will not vote
currently.
for it either, you know,
Right.
they'll give the money, and the town meeting will vote for it, so.
Right.
Well.
But the good news is we currently offer this. If somebody needs this technology,
That's
it's
right.
currently available. What
Yep.
we're looking to do is improve on what's available. So
Exactly.
that's why we have time
Couldn't agree with
to
you.
look into
Mhm.
things and talk about it more.
Exactly.
One thing to Walt's point is that we get one of these systems of our own design that we think will work. And there are other places like the senior center and other places
Oh,
that need it too. Well, we can't fund those, however, the town can. Will they use the same system? Will they adopt what we have? Will they create their own system? And we have different systems that we're using.
There's so many bridges up
Yeah.
our head.
No,
though
no,
we-
but I'm just
Let's-
trying to go down that road to understand.
Let's not give up on finding ways to help other locations. I mean, we decided if we called the meeting room studios, we could do a lot of things.
Right.
We
That's a good
could
point.
spend $500,000 on it. So, let's see what we can find out. Anyway,
Well, Bob,
my doctor's
I was
thing
gonna say,
was,
what are you proposing? Cause you did mention
I'm-
that we
I'm-
should probably hang on for another 2 years maybe.
well, I
Should
don't,
we-
she said, actually, I'm gonna see her in a few weeks and I'll ask a little more.
We should ask too about, because I'm curious how you take a hearing aid and pair it with Bluetooth. Is
Well,
it through
I
an
don't-
app or is it?
Well, these hearing
Different
aids
ways of
that
doing it.
she tells me, all the hearing aids now, mine are like, several years old, all of them interact with apps.
In app, there you go,
And-
so that
but
piece of cake,
then I
that's
want,
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm judging, is this good or bad, from my point of view,
Mhm.
I wanna know how it works, and picture other people trying to use it.
Well, we should look into finding something where we could do it as a demo so that you could test it and see, and then you get a feel for something like this before we even go and explore it further.
Yeah.
And I'm sure vendors would have no problem doing something like that.
But I also think we need to loop in the department
Oh,
head,
yes.
because
Oh,
I could
absolutely.
see this going down an avenue where
Yes.
we've gone down a road quite a bit of a way, and then if the department head has a different idea, now there's a rub that I don't wanna do. I want
That's right.
everyone to be heading down the path together.
I'm not sure whether the message got shared a couple times back. I sent to Bob asking him, I'm thinking about this, and what can you tell me, and so on. And that's what started the loop. And his answer was basically, yeah, that'd be good at some point in the future.
Mhm.
So, he's I don't think he's gonna be against it, but, we have to figure out it, you know, what it's gonna be and make it happen.
Since he
Or move
mentioned,
forward.
since Bob mentioned that he might be coming the next month, can we put it on the agenda and let him know that we're going to be discussing this topic?
Yeah, I think hearing assistants should stay on the agenda for next
Yeah.
month to loop him in, and hey, we've
Exactly.
talked about this a couple
No,
times.
we need some direction from him too.
Yeah, exactly.
I may have, I don't remember, I've exchanged a couple messages with him. I think I put in, oh, no, I was asking him about the next item. Just a message to him in the last since the agenda, gonna be talking about this, and,
Do you own a pair of the earbuds, the Apple?
I do not.
No.
well, the earbuds don't do.
No.
Bluetooth.
It was something else. My mother, who passed away this past year, she
Sorry.
was had very difficult time hearing, and when I went to go visit her, I would give her the earbuds to put in her ears, and right on the iPhone, there's a thing where you can have it listen to the room, and it plays in here, and you can make it really, really loud. So I was able to talk to her very easily without having to shout, and she could hear very, very well through the microphone on the phone.
There's always more than one way to skin a cat, I guess.
Right, and it's been that way for years. It wasn't just this past year, but I mean, they've had it for a long time. And that hearing assistance that they have already in the iPhones works tremendously. It's a fantastic tool for what I need. Some people abuse it, where they will leave their phone in the room, and they go in the other room and listen to what's going on in there.
Oh, fantastic.
But, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, right. Enough on that? Okay. I did send to Bob that I wanted to, get an update on, the status of the project that has been coming by us without real definition, for quite a while, about upgrading mostly in F so that the overflow thing will work well. And he sent back a message. I don't know what he thinks, I think whatever they're doing now is the wrong thing to do, and they should do something different. And, he used terms that I didn't know what he was telling me about. I want to judge, cause I have the other side of that one, the overflow, experience, but, I didn't, he didn't send me anything. So
I have some information about that if you'd like.
yeah,
So Room F went out to RFP and there was an issue with it. So now they have
Room F.
Room F.
Oh, okay.
Room F, because they're gonna upgrade it to be just like A. A is like the top tier room. It's real easy to do Zoom. It's got all the TVs in there, and F is good.
Who's gonna do that?
The town. It's already in the works.
Yeah.
So they're putting out to RFP to make F just like A. There was an issue with the first RFP, so it's going back out to RFP again. The last I knew, it hadn't gone back out. That is the huge delay that's going on, is the RFP process. Once that comes back in, then the ball will be rolling and it'll be going smoothly since there. But to take it a little bit further to consider is room G, which is right across the hall from F. So room G is not part of the RFP and it's not part of the process at all, but through a lot of these conversations, room G has entered the chat, we'll say, because people are meeting in there and they're not capturing those meetings, which is a problem. And then in addition to that, it would just be nice to have another room available that's getting meetings captured. And the way this setup is in this room was done at such a low dollar amount that they could turn G into what this room is, with just a little smart screen. There's nothing, not like A, not like F, but like this room, which would be really nice. So if there's overflow in F, they can go right across the hall, rather than the way it's set up now. When there's overflow in A, they're going up and across this, like all over Kingdom Come, where if you know you're gonna have a big meeting, schedule it in F, and then your overflow is right across the hall in G, and it's just a much more flowy, functional thing. So that has kind of entered the sphere a little bit, because now that F is going back out to RFP, any surplus or any forward thinking knowing that G might come online is now being factored into F. And it's very possible even actually that G could get converted before F because of what it would take to turn G into this. It's possible that that could come online before F, but that's not happening yet without a much bigger discussion with everybody to see if that's the direction people want to go in, if there's money there, and how to do that, because that would for sure be over $5,000.
I'm trying to picture G. I don't think if we go up the center stairway, do I turn left or right?
Wherever you'd go to F, it's directly across the hall. Like it's the doors,
That wasn't my question. I go to F by going up the elevator and walking down to F, and I can't remember whether I've gotten past the stairwell when I'm there, but there are obviously rooms on both sides, and
so there's two.
The one that's on the right is fairly small. It was used for files for a long time. I don't know what it is now. The one on the left, I don't even know. I don't ever remember a meeting in there.
There are meetings in there a lot, actually.
Okay, because the IT committee was meeting in the little room all the way down closest to the elevator, which is another, I don't know what letter that one is. And I think other people met in there too. Anyway, okay. Anyway, I'd like, maybe he can give us a little more idea of what all is going on.
What I was gonna say is that, conference room A, Studio A, we spent a fair amount of money on that project, and it involved not just the things you see in the room, but soundproofing, a new air conditioning system that had to run very quietly, with the proper ventilation, and it evolved into something far bigger than just simply having what we have in here. And when it came to room F, which was just above it, they were able to tie in to some of those things, like the HVAC system and other things, because it was directly above it. And some of the other things
F and A
pertain
are
to.
not directly above each other. They're like,
No, they aren't.
they're totally
I
not
thought
near
they
each
were-
other.
They're
thought they were a
across the
little
hall
shift.
from each other.
I thought they were just above each other.
Nope.
I recall.
F is close to the center staircase.
Okay.
A is
Oh.
two doors down
All
on
right.
downstairs.
Somehow I thought they were
on the other
very
side.
close to each other.
No, but there was, anyway.
Oh.
But
But doesn't.
But where's,
It was a cheaper
where's the-
version of the conference room F.
where's all the money coming from?
So none of this has happened yet. This is
No.
just the beginning stages of the conversation that this would be a good idea to do. Because this room is being used each month by various committees and,
No. I got that, but, does somebody think that they're gonna use cable money for it? There's been conversation, Bob Berger spoke of it, and I think even Bob DeToma while we were
money
still meeting.
for which project now? F?
For, basically for the F. And they were marching forward and, giving, I think reports that probably reflect that things weren't really settled. They weren't going as well as they could. And we were thinking, at least I was thinking, they were thinking cable purposes, cable money.
So.
Well, but that's what
I hear what you're saying. So my understanding is F is funded already. It's funded through it was either through ARPA or capital or something funded F already, which is why it's out to RFP. Nobody's gonna come ask for money for F. Now, maybe for G, but as far as I understood, F had a funding source already.
Well, I'd like to know what it is. I'd like to know when someone says that we approved it, or that Bob approved it, or that Evan approved it, or it's coming out of the general fund, or whatever.
Okay,
Okay.
because this has been, okay. So you-
I just wanna
you-
know, because we couldn't, the meeting,
So-
the 1727 meeting had to be postponed because we didn't have a place.
So let me just
that
get this
was-
straight about F.
Hmm?
F has never been discussed at this committee level ever until tonight?
No, we've been told that people
We
were
discussed it
moving-
December, January, I
moving
thought
in,
it was appropriate.
looking at it.
I did too, I
The
thought it was either
funds-
through
the funds
capital
were
or
appropriated.
ARPA, but you're
By
saying you've
whom?
never heard about it.
We had discussed it, I think, at the December, January meetings.
We
And-
talked about it, I don't remember, well, if we didn't have a dollar number, I don't know how we could have. But what we would do in that case is recommend it to the selectmen who have to approve. If it's a big depends on how big the contract is, but anyway, I just wanna
I
know.
just wanna know what information to gather, cause it's, to me, I'm hearing that this was discussed at some point, and I'm also hearing it wasn't.
Well,
To the
no,
level-
it was spoken of. I don't remember that it was ever, whatever was clear became unclear. Probably as a reflection of the RFP, whatever all the process up there was going through. So we stopped getting helpful information when we asked each month.
So besides the funding source, what other information would help bring clarity to this project for you?
Well, I'd like to get back to exactly what it's gonna include.
So what's in, so you wanna see the or the
Well,
proposal when it comes
I-
back?
If I may, I think, and it would also, I'm curious myself, because when we look at compatibility for the RFP, is what is being proposed there compatible with the other equipment? Was Bob Atoma involved, yeah, and you see where I'm going with this, so that if there's ever a time where we need to link all these together, we have the capability to do so. It's not being planned and orchestrated by someone else that doesn't know anything of the other systems that are already in place. I take it whoever's on doing this
Yeah.
is doing it in a very compatible way and making sure all the systems talk to each other.
So in essence, we need full disclosure of what's there now,
That
Okay.
and then we'll
was,
take it from there.
Because that would be important, I think.
That way
to
it's
do it.
not
We
what
do
she
it right.
said, she said, you know.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
that's what I recall being told in the early stages, that XYZ, I don't know, consultant is working on it, designing it up, we're moving forward, and then didn't hear anything, what's going on, oh, yeah, no, well, that'll get done someday, and it just all got,
That's, I think the original RFP had some kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
I
then-
can't bring clarity to
and
that, I don't
we
fully.
haven't had helpful input about what's going on.
So, I just gave helpful input, it's going back out to RFP, that's the
Yeah,
helpful
yeah,
input.
it
So
hasn't-
everything that
it hasn't
happened. It hasn't, the last I got my update was about 2 or so weeks ago, and it was about to go out, but it hadn't gone out yet. So that, we're like, starting from ground zero again.
Okay. I'd be interested to see it, I don't, I'd be interested just to see it.
Yeah,
Not that those are fascinating sometimes, but, they'll tell us, or tell me who's working on it, and I'm almost certain that they're doing the right things.
Yeah.
of course.
But, they do Zoom up there, right? Sure. Currently with whatever, some way or other they
In
do
F?
Zoom now.
Oh, no, not enough, I don't know.
In F, there is Zoom capabilities. I know the school committee has a system that they seem to understand a little better, but when I meet in there with my other committees, we struggle. We use the owls, and it's all about, it's who knows the technology. We have Jack on our committee, helpful, that really kinda steers the ship on that, but it's available, but is it always utilized is the question, for Zoom,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a little less zoomable than we might like right now.
That's why we're trying to make it like A, right?
Well,
A is
I-
cream of the crop, F is almost there.
Make it like A is one thing. I think that what I heard was make it like A, except I think like it's a more advanced audio processing system. We're pretty far ahead even in A. We have a thing that has a whole lot of processing going on inside, and managing feedback and all that
But
kind
it
of
has
stuff.
all the bells and whistles, so.
Yeah,
at least-
and, but I, you know, I think we were being told, they're gonna put something, you know, this year's version, you know, updated about that, and that's good.
Okay, so we're going back to square one, which is the right way to do it.
Yep.
At least we
Okay,
have-
so, that's not gonna happen before my 1727 gets settled.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, all right, anybody else with that, so,
I would say the interconnectivity between F and A though, that I've experienced through planning board, it seems to be, you know, a good Band-Aid. It's working for what it needs to do right now. With the way the overflow has been working for you guys, and the people were able to come in and comment, and it seemed to do what it needed to do for now, and we're working on improving it, so.
yeah, I don't go to meetings, I don't know when the last time was I was at a meeting up there, so I don't know what they're doing, so I can't.
Yeah, but you were in the meeting when they had F, and
Yeah,
people in F were
yeah,
talking to you guys,
but-
and
but, yeah,
from that perspective, it seemed
We
to be
had,
working.
Natalia up there.
Yep.
And she was doing like one person, I think she was putting whoever was gonna speak in front of
Yeah,
a camera.
Yep.
Which is
like going to the
okay if
podium.
you have 3 people in the room.
But it's like going to the podium in A, right? So, it
Yeah,
worked for what it
yeah,
needed to
okay.
for that,
It's a way, but I'd like it to be,
better.
you know, transparent.
Totally.
Everything. One, like to be able to have a cable feed from, yeah, they could, what they're sending out for the meeting live on the cable, I'd like it to be able to have the cameras in both rooms all switched together. I'm not sure we're gonna get that, but, anyway. Enough, I think. Minutes, review and approval. There were 3 sets of minutes that showed up today.
Yes?
So the Monday, July 15th, minutes, I have to recommend some edits for that.
Okay.
Under reorganization, there was a second for Bob. Carl seconded Bob. Carl seconded your motion to make Bob chair.
Which one?
On,
July 15.
right here, it says there were, no seconds, and none seconded.
Yeah, that's it.
Carl seconded it.
I'm also marked as absent, which doesn't make any sense,
Oh, that was leftover, sorry.
so just kill that.
Yep.
And then down
And-
below.
Sorry, Walt, second, you said?
Carl.
Carl
Yeah.
did.
Lower where Carl nominated me to be treasurer, Walt seconded that, where you have no one seconded that one.
Correct.
Down here.
Down here, yep. And then,
Walt did that.
under the committee charge, the way you, captured it, it doesn't have to be a transcript, but I do feel like some of the spirit of what that conversation was is a little missed, but I definitely wanna talk about at the end. This is to put something to work to achieve for future meetings when we were talking about packets. Bob indicated he was gonna work on that last month, and there's no indication of that here. You also say that I proposed the amendment to add the non-voting member. I did
That's-
not propose that.
I
Bob
could've sworn-
proposed that.
No,
I heard you say it, but.
No, you proposed it, and I
No.
reiterated it back to you.
No, I didn't.
Check the tape, it's
I
fine.
never even thought of a non-voting member as a concept.
So you-
I think it came from down, I don't know whether you were down there, but,
So you were asking, how do we get into the meetings? How do we change
yeah,
membership? How do we get into the
yeah.
meetings?
But
And
I didn't
re-
say,
So then
no.
I said, you could make a non, and you're like, I make that amendment. You asked for that amendment, and then it was seconded.
Yeah.
But that was not my proposal or my amendment. It was your proposal and your amendment. I just provided clarity for what you were asking for. And then I go on further to say, I don't think that's a good idea. But I certainly didn't propose it, and I didn't amendment, and there's no original motion here where I made the motion to bring the changes for the $5,000, that's not captured here, that was motioned, seconded, under discussion is where the amendment came for the non-voting members, so this needs really a lot more reworking before, I'm comfortable voting on it, because it's not capturing like a action that we took.
Could you and Corson work on this? It's much more complicated than
Yeah.
any minutes review I've ever had.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's on
But
YouTube.
I-
I watched it this
I
morning, so it's
didn't-
real easy to go back and catch up. That's how I
Yeah,
got all the seconds. I watched all the
didn't-
meeting again.
I couldn't have made a motion.
You made an amendment.
Amendments are done by motion.
Right?
I can't make a motion.
But you did it. I don't know.
No, I didn't.
Okay, just watch the tape, Bob. I'm not gonna argue with you about it.
But, it was a very quick little, okay, that'll get it done. No, that'll get us past this. But, with sensitivity on it, I think,
Yeah, if you could send me
maybe you can.
what you think ought to be changed.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll send you the timestamps to the video so you guys can go corroborate what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't care too much.
Did you see when I sent the minutes?
What do you mean when you sent them?
The-
No.
The time?
No.
It was, about 1:45 last night.
Oh,
So, I could have made a few slips here and there.
were you watching the tape when you did this?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were doing it off your notes.
No,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, in terms of trying to transcribe and the amount of time and how it was late and
Yeah,
so
understood,
forth.
understood. Yeah, so definitely capturing motions need to be a little bit, for
Okay.
me anyway, spelled out. I think if we can pass over this set of minutes tonight and bring it back for next month, I think that would make the most amount of sense.
So we're holding June 17th.
July 15th.
How about,
July 15th.
July
July 15th.
15th we're holding.
well, it says June 17th isn't that the one I'm looking at?
No, it's the next
No.
one. There's three of them.
June 3. All right.
It's not, there's no July 17th, there's a June 17th.
No, this is a July.
June 3rd, June 17th.
We're holding July
15th.
15th.
That's the one that's gonna have to be amended.
Right.
So we're in agreement with the other two? And I make a
Okay.
motion that we approve the
Draft.
the draft minutes of June 3rd, 2024, and June 17, 2024.
Second.
Okay, June 17 and,
See, that's where the absent was.
Yeah,
The previous.
I figure you could.
There's,
so that, June 5th and,
June
no,
3rd,
yes, June,
3rd and June 17th. That'd be
June 3rd.
Yeah. And July 15th, it's on hold.
Okay.
Pending.
I have a point on the June 17th minutes, I just need a clarification.
Sure.
It mentions that, neither Colleen nor I have been sworn in. I'm not sure about that because I was sworn in the town the week prior to this meeting, so I don't know if that means
It-
that or.
what it means is our term really hadn't started yet on that date,
Good.
but you're right for that. And you're right, there's another thing I caught in there where you're mentioning Berger, but Berger wasn't at the meeting, and I didn't write that down. But there was a reference to Berger
Yeah, it says right here,
somewhere.
Treasurer Bob Berger absent.
Right, but in the minutes,
Yeah.
you're mentioning Berger said something when he couldn't have, he wasn't there. It was
For which
almost-
meeting?
It was almost like
June
you
17th,
17th.
June 17th minutes.
reused minutes from
Well, I said
previous
there are
minutes.
outgoing members of the committee.
No, I wish I wrote it down, I don't think it was in the July one, I think it was in the June one. Do you have the June one handy, can I look at that real
That's
quick?
what I'm looking at.
Right.
June 3rd?
So under, Berger was not present, but up in here, you said something about, Bob Berger noted that he does not have information regarding the invoices, but he couldn't have noted that
Oh,
because
yeah,
he was
right,
absent.
Right.
So we have to retract that, so we
Yeah.
need to change that.
Yep.
So I'll retract the
We wanna,
motion
we wanna
Well,
withdraw the
then-
motion and try
in
again.
its entirety.
See if we can find anything to approve here.
And then that should be written differently than sworn in, that being that we didn't have an,
Our term
our,
hadn't
our
started
term
yet,
hasn't
yeah.
started yet, yeah.
I mean, that's, yes,
I
that
just-
would be
I
the
just wanted
proper way of saying that,
clarification.
yeah.
So, is the motion
What was this?
withdrawn for the two?
Yep.
Do we have a motion for any of them?
Are we in agreement with the June 3rd?
Gotta be honest. I didn't really bother reading them, cause I wasn't involved with the committee back then,
Well,
I was
well,
gonna,
well,
I was just gonna
Well,
abstain.
that's the question I have, can
I
we,
read
even,
I
cause
was
it's
gonna-
June third,
yeah.
I don't think we could even endorse it or vote on that, right? If we
So we
weren't part of the
can
meeting.
abstain and then let them take action.
Okay,
Okay, about, what was
You
the?
need a majority of a quorum. You need
So
3
three.
votes.
Yeah,
I think you have that.
yeah,
we're here.
If people are abstaining.
Oh, no.
1, 2 are abstaining,
This would be
and then
for-
you
Alright,
have,
we're gonna get 3.
All right, I'll go ahead,
No. I was saying, what was the other change you said it was?
Why don't,
now, we're talking about the June third minutes right now.
You changed it, cause we were still talking, hadn't really finished up with the 17th one.
oh, good.
Cause there were 2 changes, there was one about the Bob Burger
Bob
and you
Berger,
mentioned
and the other one was the way it was written about, that Colleen Roy and Walt Lasko's, our, term hasn't started yet on the committee. It's not that we haven't been sworn in. It's just the language, that's all.
Okay. Have, terms hasn't started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we could go back to Bob and the June third motion.
my brain is not functioning sufficiently for this meeting.
It's not midnight yet.
Oh, well, that's the problem, of course. No wonder. All right. So, has anyone made a motion on any meeting, any minutes? Or are we still correcting?
so there was a motion made and seconded, do we just wanna rescind the original motion?
I did, already.
And then, alright, so I'll second that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it all again from when minutes happened, we're
Right, right.
very clear.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
of course, or Carl, do you wanna make the next?
So I'll make a motion to approve as presented, the meeting on Monday, June third, 2024. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I don't oppose it, just abstain.
Abstain.
That's the third, so
Oh,
it's gonna
you're-
be
you're,
3-0-2,
You're
abstaining,
yeah, I have 3 yeses.
yes.
Correct.
Motion carries.
Exactly.
Uh, I've had staff, planning board, years ago talk about that approving minutes is not, I can't remember the term, but it's it's an administrative thing that you can do even if you weren't there.
100%, you totally can, you totally can.
Yeah,
But
but it-
considering the minutes I read and found the mistakes, I just didn't feel comfortable going
Oh,
back and
no,
double
no,
checking the
that-
third.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But just because someone wasn't at a meeting,
100%, you're right,
you know.
yep, I totally could have,
You don't see that touched on that much.
And I've been at meetings where it was like, you can't, if you weren't.
Oh, really?
Yes,
You know,
you
Oh,
there-
yeah.
there are
can.
differences.
in
of
this realm, you
opinion.
totally can.
I'm the one who's right about this. I must be. That's why I get the big bucks to be chairman. Well, no. Bringing me to bills, which we don't have any of.
Yeah, we do,
Hmm?
Yeah.
we sure do.
Well, do we have bills that we have to do anything about?
Anything we have to pay,
Anything we have to approve?
right.
No, just
Oh.
copies of what was paid.
So then why is it on there?
Because it's always been on there and we've always approved bills until
Right.
recently.
Okay, so we don't approve them anymore.
Well, I don't know,
should.
they don't come to us, so we can't. I'll note, for example, the planning board approves planning board bills.
Mhm.
And Bob Berger used to point that out to the folks up there, but I guess we're different.
So do we need to keep it on the agenda still?
Take it off, it can come in with the treasurer if.
We don't have to take it off, I'm just asking,
No,
like, if
no.
we're just gonna leave it on there for each month to take shots at it, I don't wanna do that either. Like, but if it's useful to say, hey, did anyone see anything stand out? No, everything looked good, and move on, then I'm okay with doing that, but I don't wanna have it just be a trigger each time people see bills and remind them, like, we don't do this anymore. I don't wanna do that.
Bob does send us some documents that have, stuff on it, and sort of, maybe if we have it on the agenda, that'll, give a little visibility into what's going on, if he continues to send it.
Might I suggest that we keep it on?
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
then we stay mindful of who is billing us for what.
Yeah.
Because if there is some sort of surprise on there, we can catch it by always monitoring.
Okay, it's
Okay.
on, it's on for now. Treasurer's report.
So the treasurer's report this month is not great because I had nothing handed off to me. When the last treasurer left, there was no transfer of knowledge, no discussion. I'm starting from scratch. So I have met with the town accountant. I do know that as FY '24 is closing out, which it hasn't fully yet, and we're waiting for other things, we're floating around $782,000. That's all I feel comfortable really going into now, but I'll have a more detailed report next month to go over with you guys.
If I were you, I'd ask, what did she provide Bob? Cause Bob got stuff and he gave it to us. And he went around and around trying to get formats that, were helpful. But
He was getting the whole ledger, and then she was just cutting and paste whatever was
So I don't know how
driven into our.
accurate his last report was, so I'm going to just going forward, I'm gonna keep very similar ledgers, cause it's coming right off of Vadar.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But that, that's, I knew how to do it about 4 generations ago.
Mhm.
But, I've been pushed aside by
yeah,
other
and I think
people.
it's about access too, like even if I wanted to, I'm not a town employee that can go access Vadar, right? Like I'm going to have to request this
Yeah.
information. The information, it's really like a treasurer's report, I don't know, do you really need it every month? Or is it at the end of the fiscal year where this is where it all washes out?
Until we understand managing the money a little more clearly, I think it's helpful. We've always tried to track how are we doing.
Okay,
I can see bringing up, do we really need this as often, a little ways down, but after we see it going.
sure, so it just
Okay.
might be a lot of the same information, cause things don't change
Okay.
usually month to month.
And Colleen, that might also tie in with the budget too, like when we were talking about having us, putting that on the agenda sometime to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because even there, then that could be, how often do we wanna have?
100%.
Is it quarterly, monthly, whatever?
Yep,
Because I think we're gonna get faced with challenges of, it's, course, and as you were saying, the lake is smaller and with less comes in, so we have to start being creative about how
Yes.
we look for funding down the
Correct.
road, so,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
The pond.
we wanna look at the cable subscriber base is shrinking.
Yeah.
And, so, that's long
Our
range
pond is
thinking
drying
about
out.
that. We did get, and I passed on, I think I passed on at least one of the 2 reports that, are sent showing payments, the payments from the 2 cable companies. I always watched that very carefully in the days gone by to track how much money is coming in. And I think it was Cindy asked me,
It was.
what do you wanna do now? Cause she was giving it to someone else, I suppose Bob.
it should be in the packet online too.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't see that.
But they always used to come to me forever. So I said, send them to me and, to you. And
Can we add that to maybe that agenda item for bills and receipts, so that as they come in, it's just something to talk about too? Oh, we got our charter check, we got our Verizon check, and,
well,
just kinda
it
goes
could
hand
be
in hand.
treasurer report too,
Sure.
treasurer sees that, why don't you just make it,
Do you wanna put bills under treasurer's report too?
okay.
That gives me something to talk about each month anyway. Look, we
Alright,
got National
so-
Grid.
So, bills and receipts, but I don't have to type that out in the agenda, do I? Will? just.
No, I mean,
just
you
no-
can leave the agenda this,
Hmm?
you just leave it the way it is, that's fine.
No, well, kind, all right. Anyway, that's the story. I used to track this very carefully because I'm always very worried about
So
money.
do you still track it very carefully?
No, it stopped coming to me for so long that, my spreadsheets
Okay,
fell behind now. If we get back to a stable situation,
okay,
I might grab them, just, even if it's just for me.
yeah,
But,
okay.
as chairman, and, well, it'll come to the two of us. Should we include that in the packet?
100%,
Hmm?
100%, yeah, yep,
Yes.
that's public information for sure.
Yeah. All right, that, okay, now, access activity. And Bob has a little more than usual. Digital media manager. Okay, at the end of the yeah, is there anything there that's interesting? There was a lot of production, a lot of hours produced this month. More so than usual, and apparently Bob spent quite a set, he did the, like, four videos, and, had quite a lot of stuff, more so than usual. And it's good, he told us, about half of our complaints are, the audio is screwed up, and that ends up back and forth between Charter and the studio, and the subhead end.
Yeah, that's Hatfield and
And,
Nichols for sure.
It looks like they're getting it a little more together. They call, they come, they know how to, where to check, and, cause it's a fairly long path through a bunch of stuff. Okay. Anything else that anybody wants to,
So I mean, talking about all of the programming you did, National Night Out was great. I stopped by GCTV during that time and
Oh, yeah.
did the Wonder Wheel, that was really fun. And then just seeing all these great programming things that they're offering, that's part of our charge, is to really be promoting them. So I think talking about it amongst ourselves or making a point to attend these things, is important for our committee.
Yeah, there's quite a few people, I attended it too.
And you mentioned promoting, I think somewhere along the line, I'd like to get promotion on the agenda as well for us. I think it's a promotion. It's to promote the programming through the community. I think it'd be great to have a discussion about that, to see if there's any creative ways we could get more attention driven toward our cable channels and the programming that we're doing.
Another John LaPointe.
do you want me to put something in here?
Well,
I
somewhere
think we
down
should
the-
get you to do a TikTok, because
No,
that would
no.
go viral.
Yeah.
John LaPointe was our
I'm-
publicist.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
He was a
The
non-voting member who we paid, for his duties. John LaPointe paid
Many
him.
years ago.
well, it was a long.
Many moons ago.
But he,
He was very good at what he did.
yeah, he did. Yeah, see, in television, there's talent and there's tech. I'm tech. The talent, stands on the other side of the camera.
Oh, talent
I-
has been
I-
redefined lately, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure anyone can do it.
Yeah, you
We'll
could be
see.
all over
We'll
both.
see about that. Did you say TikTok?
I did say that, yes.
You gotta be careful what you say. Facebook, and I'm almost getting off of X, it's so crap. But, Facebook, that's about the end of mine. I know nothing about TikTok.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll deal with that. But
I-
do you want an item in here about?
Well, promotion, somewhere down the road on one of our an agenda item for our meetings would be promoting our cable programming.
Oh,
Just have a creative conversation about that, if there's,
He was our publicist, so basically we needed a
yeah,
publicist.
Well-
but this is,
yeah.
But we can do that.
Because
That can be our
that's
goal.
part of our charge.
Yeah,
So I think
100%.
we should be addressing that. So I could also let you know too, I've been in touch with Chief Capo, and I'm gonna do an interview with Chief Capo, beginning of September. We're gonna, a half-hour interview in the studio, we're gonna talk about, a lot of the, directed more toward an older audience about, financial fraud and scams. But I also wanna talk to the chief a little bit about his legacy, as he goes, comes to the, retirement and the baton is passed.
How close is he?
Over that too. I understand somewhere.
Early October, he
yeah,
announced, yeah.
October or something.
Early October?
This year?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
announced it.
Yeah.
I remember the appointments of our chiefs.
McNamara?
Well, I don't remember McNamara, I don't think, coming in, I may have been around for him when he was, yeah, but, we had a little difficulty that led to, a recall election.
Oh, sweet Jesus, okay.
Um,
That will
because
not be happening this time.
People were not, people had different opinions about what was happening with
Have
that
you always
one.
lived in Grafton?
No, I grew up in Hopkinton.
Oh,
Hopkinton.
Mhm.
I worked in Hopkinton.
Where'd
for,
you work?
Liberty Mutual, the
Liberty,
research
Liberty,
center,
Liberty. Nice, yeah.
over on the,
Yeah, I did
Over
a
on the-
drive, they have a driving course out back, I
Yeah.
got paid to do a driving
Yeah,
course back there one
I
point.
got to drive on it a couple times,
Yeah,
but,
so
Yeah,
you're
I
familiar
did-
with this company?
Yes,
Mac-
I buy a lot of them. from the
Mackin.
States.
Yeah, so the Colleen truck, that's this guy.
Oh, okay. I thought I'd seen something.
yeah.
When I saw the name, I didn't wanna ask, but,
Yeah, that's my maiden name.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I sort of ran the computers there for forever. Started when I got there with a PDP-8i and built up to, a multi-user system for the whole place.
Very nice.
Writing software and managing. Okay, so promotion of our programs, next meeting date, and I did not,
See what's fine.
Robert, may I add another item down the road for an agenda item? Low-powered radio.
meaning,
I could share information on that when we get, but it's
okay.
at the
Low.
FCC. It's something I think we should take a look at, just in case, and also could be beneficial for the town from a business continuity standpoint.
Is this in
it's-
case that you're at AM?
It's FM, low powered, so it has a
Oh.
radius of about maybe 10, 17-mile radius.
Okay.
But you're broadcasting on a frequency, and it could be replaying any audio from our channels. But in terms of an emergency, God forbid, you have direct communication over the radio waves to anybody in town that could tune in. So if there's something happens, it could be used in those kind of
So
situations.
you're talking about FM,
It's an FM, and you get
FM voice.
FM voice, so it's like a regular FM radio station,
Yeah.
but it's low powered.
I remember thinking about low power. We someplace back around 85, we might have talked about that and decided that wasn't us right then.
Or was it instructional fixed television signals back then?
well, yeah, we were even thinking about having our own dish.
ITVS. Oh, I had my own dish, C-band, not KU, C-band.
You know that there was a dish that was part of all this at one time.
In North
The
Grafton.
schools put one in at the schools in,
There was one in North Grafton.
Oh, I
yeah.
believe it.
but they never managed to feed it into the system reliably. They used to just point it at the NASA channel, I think. And when it was working, that was great. We got the
yeah.
NASA channel on the educational channel, because they didn't have anything for the educational channel other than that. All right, what am I'm looking at
Dates.
September. 16th?
So master plan just sent out 16th and 30th might be one of the days for master plan. I don't know what planning boards.
Planning board is the usual, 2nd and 4th, 9th and 23rd,
Okay,
which leave, master plan, if I come here, Linda has a problem doing Zoom.
yeah, I'm on that committee, so if, I'm on that committee, so
I
I get
know.
a conflicting, but I would come.
Yeah, well, as chair, I try to be there, but no, I've got something like this,
Right,
too, yeah. have the same problem.
Yep.
So, you say they've targeted both the 16th and the 30th?
They targeted the 16th, they sent out like a little Wordle, not Wordle, is it a Wordle? Whatever, something for people to, and everybody was kinda, it seemed like the 16th was the most popular, but,
I went into that.
that shouldn't affect this committee, I was just throwing that out there.
Well, if you have two places to be, it makes a difference.
I won't be around on the
It's
30th.
the gallery.
Okay, so then that helps, that's a fifth of our committee can't do the 30th, so let's do the 16th, and, yeah.
Let's see, 16th?
16th.
Let's see.
I'll be on a cruise ship.
Congratulations.
Ooh.
Be my first one.
Oh boy.
And you
You're not
wanna,
gonna do it, are you?
Of course, in
You
hurricane
taken
season.
out of Boston?
No, it's out of Florida.
They had to cancel last weekend, I guess. It's pretty rough.
It's Wonder of the Seas, a Caribbean cruise ship.
Oh, yeah.
It's the length of 3 football fields.
Oh, I believe it. It's too many people.
about the size of an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Well, of the length,
Yeah.
or maybe not the width.
Alright, fingers crossed for no hurricanes.
Exactly.
Oh, it's hurricane season. So
I know you
That's
were,
right.
I know you were, I'm like, that's an interesting
Of
thought.
course, you do a Facebook
I didn't
Live.
pick all of it. My wife did all that. So.
Of course, if you're down here, do a Facebook Live, we'll put you on live channel.
There you go.
Reporting
All
from
right,
Florida.
Bus stop weather.
Monday, September
16.
16th.
Mm-hmm.
At 7. Hybrid? Here?
How many, so first of all, did we have any participants? We had Anne Marie, no, we did, we had Anne Marie, but
Yeah.
were there any other participants?
No.
Okay, and did she ever raise her hand?
She was listening in, yeah, because she said at some point, she says, I can't hear it.
Okay,
And then she said she put her iPod and then it was working, so.
okay. I
She
mean,
was the only guest, yeah.
the fact that somebody attended makes me think it's convenient for people, so you might as well just keep it going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to
You-
plan?
You're the Zoomer?
I guess.
Do you want to provide an additional date for the following month after that,
For the what?
for October? So it's good to.
October is going to be October, we don't
September 16th.
We don't have a Monday. The 7th is planning board, the 14th is a holiday,
Yes.
the 21st is the town meeting,
Woo!
and the
Yeah.
28th
Already.
is planning board.
Now,
Why don't we wait until next month?
have we ever met on a planning board night? If the four of us can meet and you can't, has that ever been considered or no?
Never happened. I've never missed a meeting.
Okay, so we just don't do that.
Well, we just haven't done that.
Okay,
And I'd be happier if we didn't.
okay, alright, just throwing that out there, cause if it means we're gonna miss a month, or, you know what I
It
mean?
depends on how,
Well, we could go back to Saturdays.
yeah, I like that. We for a long time met Saturdays in the studio.
Mhm.
I was the cable access coordinator, had a key to the studio so I could let us in. We did it on Saturday mornings, so we never had these conflicts with, other meetings or finding a meeting room.
Or we could meet at 6 and wrap in an hour,
6.
PM.
Mm-hmm.
Which day we're talking about?
This is for like October, so if we
Okay.
wanted to meet on the 21st,
Yep.
or, sorry, that's town meeting, or the 28th at 6 o'clock, and then wrap up by 7 so you can get over to planning board, that works as well too.
Yeah. That's probably the best plan. Maybe not a good plan, but the best plan.
Just, I don't think October is gonna be like that, I think usually we can work around planning board, but in the effort to move things along and not wait a long time between meetings, it might make sense to do that.
Okay, I just.
28th, I'm in
Didn't
Western
write
New
that one down.
York,
Okay,
doing an event, so would be available.
does the 28th even work for everybody, so we,
Well, it works for me.
okay, works for me, does not work for Walt, does it work for you, Corson, in October?
October 28th?
28th,
That
yeah,
would be fine, sure.
okay. And that would be at 6 PM, cause you have planning board that night. Okay,
And maybe you'll
Let's
zoom
do
in.
ooh, that'd
Cross
be
Lake and
fun,
Western New
aren't
York.
you fancy?
We'll see.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Amber to set it up for us,
Mhm.
with me as the administrator, so you'll be able to,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I want Bill to walk to us again, because it'll be good. I wanna see exactly what he did here, you know.
yeah, you just need the username and password, and then,
Yeah.
so
they will
that's,
do it automatically.
yeah, yeah.
If she sets it up for us,
Mm-hmm.
it's going.
Yeah. I think
She's
that
the
it's
best.
a known password, it's, Bob Berger used to do this.
Mhm. We might not wanna say the password on TV right now.
No, we probably don't,
How about
I'm-
this?
but,
Another idea.
I'm not going
Love
to
your
be,
ideas.
I'm not going to, you know
Ideas.
why? Cause I haven't any idea what it is.
Where does the planning board meet?
Conference room A, unless there's an overflow.
So if we do it
no.
on Zoom, he doesn't have to be here.
No, what I'm saying is, why don't we hold our 6 o'clock meeting in conference room A?
Oh, if it's
I-
available,
Sorta hate that idea, but that's cause other people would be setting up, so if like Fiona or whatever's up there setting up before the meeting,
Yeah,
and
then-
we're in their way.
yeah,
I was more or less thinking for Bob, because.
Right, but we could do it in
Luke Williams is
F,
there.
so then all he has to do is walk downstairs.
That would be fine, if you wanna do something like that.
I'm just as happy here.
yeah.
Whatever.
It just
Okay.
would take you more time to.
It doesn't
leave
take
here and
much
get to
longer to
there.
get up there from here than it
You know,
does.
step away.
Well,
Go
it's
between
just a
rooms
trip
up
with an
there.
elevator.
Okay.
Yeah, the elevator, yes, of course.
So the 28 at 6 it is,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Here.
I'll ask Amber to set it
6,
up, so.
that's 7, 28,
Okay.
6.
There's one item left on the agenda, which requires a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, that's not debatable. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.